Hi there, I'm Aly Elliott.
Hi, I am Aly Elliott and I'm back. And today we are going to continue to go over the stories for Hiraeth, our collection of bereaved siblings. And it's been a while since I've made a video and it's gotten really, really hectic around here. So I'm sorry for the delay. Doing the best I can. I tried to make some recordings around midnight last week and it was just not coherent. So so I'm back now and I'm going to continue telling these stories now that my schedule has settled down a little bit. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. Today, we are continuing Hiraeth, the bereaved siblings project, and we are continuing with Kyle's story. And I'm just going right through the book in order, telling each individual image's little details, the little Easter eggs that we tucked into every single pixel of the scene so that the story was complete, that their whole story was told. And I'm forever, ever grateful for these families for letting me in. As I've mentioned before, a lot of these families I had known for a long time. I already knew their story. And for others, we met because of the project. As time went on, I initially went into this project thinking it was going to take a year or so to get to everybody. And 4 years later, that turned out to not be the case. But as I photographed these and worked on these, everything was kept under wraps except for the idea. So there was a whole lot of trust involved, families trusting me without seeing anything except for the one that I did of my own children. And word spread a little bit within the bereavement community, and there were a few people that came to me that we met because of the project, which was really, really special. And Kyle's family was one of them. I had known a mutual friend of ours for many years, since our babies were little bitty babies together. And periodically I would come up with a concept, or I would list the places that my family and I would be traveling to, and open it up for any bereaved families in those areas or that match those concepts, to be tagged in a post or something, to be alerted somehow that we were going to be near them. And my family and I were going to be in Philadelphia. This was in the fall of 19, I think. I'm pretty sure it was the fall of 19. It was not that long ago, and it was not that long before the project was wrapping up. I had a hard deadline at that point in January that the images had to be completed for the gallery. So they all had to be shot by January and completed by April. A couple of days after we left the Philadelphia area, a mutual friend of ours tagged her friend in my post and said, "Is it too late?" And I said, "Well, we're not there anymore, but we're going to be back in Richmond, which is, it's a pretty solid drive, but it's like east of me." So we went with that. And she introduced me to Kyle's family. And they made the trip, and I know it was a little bit of a trek to get down there. And this image was actually shot in the workout room of the hotel that I was staying in. And it was shot on green screen. I had the vision in my mind a little bit of what I wanted this to look like without knowing his full story. And one of the things that made them think of him, one of his little heaven winks, is were helium balloons. And obviously they wouldn't really work in the snow, but I think that's part of what makes it magical, is because we have this world that we're seeing where all of our children are in there the way we see them every day, and special things like that can happen. And so I wanted to figure out a way to tie that in and make it look natural and make it look like it could happen. So that's what we did. Kyle's family was amazing, and I am so I'm just filled with gratitude that they trusted me without really knowing me. They trusted me to show their family the way they saw it in their minds. And we didn't have a whole lot of time that morning. My kids were in a tournament, and we tucked it into an early Sunday morning. And we shot it on the green screen in this gym. Thankfully, nobody else was trying to work out that day. The hotel was very kind to allow us to do that, and it was very quick. And everything went very smoothly from my perspective. But again, they were seeing this happen, not knowing what it was going to look like, not knowing how it was going to come together. So it was a task on my end that I wanted to make sure that I did this baby justice. And Kyle would be 7 when I sent out this questionnaire, which was coming up on a year. It was around a year ago now. So they didn't have to wait as long as some of the families had to wait 4 years. But the wait nonetheless felt like a long time. Oftentimes, my children, especially my daughters, will look at snow globes or look at little toys and tell me that they see their sister in there. They see who she would be, what she would look like, and they can just picture it. It's like a little peek into their imagination of how they feel life might have been if their sister had lived longer. So I knew I wanted to incorporate a snow globe into one of these images. And it all came together for Kyle's to be in the snow and to be, it gives it like a warm and cozy feeling of warmth in the midst of this snowy scene. The scene itself I had actually photographed many years ago. We don't even live in this house, but this was our old backyard. And I'll occasionally take environmental photos like that to use in composites down the road. And I've used this one a few times because of the peaceful nature of the scene. And I knew I wanted to use it in this project somehow. And it just felt so perfect to use it with the snow globe. They were actually holding the snow globe in the image. It was one that I found. I loved the tones, the white, the bright tones. And when we got home from that trip, the snow globe rolled out from behind the luggage and broke in our driveway. And I was really sad that happened. I wanted to have some tangible memories from this project because it was emotionally taxing in a way and also therapeutic in a way. But I wanted to keep some things from this project sitting around, and that was one of the things that I had hoped to keep, and it just wasn't meant to be. Kyle was one of the babies when I was creating him, and you can see him in 2 places. Actually, he is in the snow globe with his brothers and sisters, and he's also in the reflection of the balloon nearest them. And as I mentioned in one of the other videos, what I tended to do was build the sibling out of all the living siblings first, and then create the reflection from what would look like a person next to them in the overall image, if that makes sense. I'm still kind of tired. But Kyle was one of them that just, I had such an incredibly strong vision of what I felt like he would look like. And I built these and then sent out the questionnaire of how the family felt like they would look in case there were any huge differences of what they picture and what I was seeing. I wanted to be able to correct that before they went to print. And by the grace of God, it wasn't like that for any of them. They were absolutely, in my mind, spot on the description that I was getting from the parents. And I had such a strong, even the kind of coat he was wearing, the kind of haircut that he would have, it was a very strong visual that came together very easily based on his sisters and brother. And to see that match up with what they wrote about him, it was just so fulfilling and so incredible. And then again, and I said this a million times, but it felt like it was out of my hands. For this image, I wanted to create a warm spot in the midst of this, and it's still, even though it's cold around them, it's inviting and peaceful. And when you're outside in the snow and the snow is absorbing all the sounds and it's quiet and peaceful, there's no other peace quite like that on earth. There's no echo. It's just the sound of silence. And I wanted to depict that in this image because as bereaved parents, we are often haunted by silence because there is a voice that we're missing always. And I wanted to offer that silence as a bit of peace, that we can't hear them, but we can hear them. I'll read now his mother's words. Our Kyle was delivered on December 12, 2012. He was not alive, yet he was. At the beginning of our pregnancy, I began experiencing signs of an impending miscarriage. Having gone through a couple of miscarriages that year already, I knew what was happening. Fearing the worst, I went straight to my doctor. The ultrasound revealed that our Kyle was indeed alive. However, the ultrasound also revealed he would not live through the birthing process. He was later diagnosed with a rare genetic anomaly, trisomy 13. My body was keeping his alive. We were able to schedule ultrasounds in my doctor's office anytime I wanted to see how my little guy was doing. My doctor was unable to save our baby, but he gave us the priceless opportunity to know our baby. We know that he liked to suck on the second finger of his left hand. We know that his right hand was always near his face, stroking his cheek. He had a head full of perfect dark brown hair. His tiny lips were just perfect. When his big sisters tickled him with the ultrasound wand, he would scoot far away from them. This made them laugh. It made us all laugh. When I sang to him, his heart rate would decrease and his movements would settle. He will be forever alive in our hearts. And even though he never saw the love in my eyes for him, I saw his. When his little heart gave out after 220 days in my womb, I had hundreds of hours of footage, panels of photographs, and a lifetime of memories with our little guy. While it was impossible for us to be together, it was also our being together that made his life possible. So another big thank you to Kyle and his family for sharing him with us. And what an incredible doctor, first of all, to recognize how important that time for you guys was. And I know that not everybody has that opportunity. So I really want to sing the praises of when you do get that. And as always, I'll say it again. Thank you, Kyle's family and his mom and dad and siblings. And a cool part of their story was, of all years that I'd been working on this, to open it up in 2020 was dicey at best. And I had offers from galleries in Atlanta and Columbus to open the show there. And I was one signature away from it happening the beginning of September in Atlanta. And at the very last minute, I backed out. I completely panicked a little bit and felt like it needed to be closer to home. It originally felt too personal. It felt too close to home. And when it came down to it, I needed it here. I wanted it to be here where my family made our roots. And so we signed on with a gallery here, and as fate would have it, neither of those galleries have had openings yet since the pandemic happened. So again, the grace of God allowed us to be close to home, and thank you to the gallery at the Monroe Convention Center here in Bloomington that allowed us to continue with our plans. There were a lot of people that weren't able to be there because of the situation going on in the whole world, everybody affected by this pandemic. And a lot of people couldn't travel because of that for a variety of reasons, financial or immunocompromised or just being extra cautious. And I know that that stifled a lot of what we all wanted out of this night, was to be able to congregate together and hold each other's hands and give each other a real hug. And the people that were there, I'm very, very grateful that you got to come. And about a week before, I knew that Kyle's mom and dad were coming. And I can't remember if it was like a week or a couple of days before, I got a message on Instagram from her sister, from Kyle's aunt. And they said that she and her mom were coming, and they're going to surprise Kyle's mama and be here to support her and show their love for Kyle. And that was such a cool thing. And I didn't spill the beans. I'm terrible at keeping secrets. So I'm glad I kept that one. And I'm so glad that they had an extra layer of support. It was really, really cool to have them there and be a part of it. And the night was really special. Thank you to everybody who could attend. I will forever and ever and ever remember that. And I know that each family that was there for you to support appreciated it. And I know that the families that couldn't be there appreciated all of the support too. So we're just like a big extended family now, and I'm very grateful for everybody. And it was really cool to be in on the surprise a little bit, and I kept my mouth shut. We will continue this series on the series much sooner than the gap this last time. I will continue with Owen in the next day or two, and I promise to not let the time get away from me again, and I'll get some sleep and form coherent sentences someday. So thank you for being with us and remembering these babies and remembering their stories the way they all so deserve. Bye.
That's why I do my mommy. Please.